You listen to Fifi Kwete, for instance, and you see the kind of disrespect with which he approaches Dr. Bawumia. And you watch Dr. Bawumia, and you see that apart from his education, which of course began in Sakasaka Primary School, he appears to be a very well-cultured man. And we were talking about that this afternoon, and then somebody brought out this tape. That he said, oh, boss, this is your interview with him in 2011 or 2012. And he was talking in opposition about how politicians should not insult other politicians, why the contest should be about policy. And this is an opposition leader. So if you look at Dr. Bawumia in 2011 and see how he has progressed up until now, with that culture of, I'm not a politician to come and insult another politician. I can call somebody incompetent, but I'm not going to say somebody is a disgrace, he's a fool, he's stupid, Dr. Bawumia doesn't do it. It doesn't come out of him. He represents the true politics of where we should be going, not where we are coming from. This issue of vitriol is terrible, and that's why they say Dr. Bawumia represents the future. Have a look at this one. This is me talking to you, but viewers, you have to forgive me on a few things when you see the video. Don't laugh at me or how I looked, all that. Don't also laugh at our studio. I'll tell you the story. That day, Dr. Bawumia was traveling to Zimbabwe. By that time, he was doing the Zimbabwe work. He was traveling to Zimbabwe. And he graciously agreed with the interview, so we had to rush and get it together very quickly. He gave us a time. We were late, about 2 hours late when we went there. He was still very calm. I said, sorry, Veep. We used to call him Veep anyway. That time he wasn't vice president. He said, it's okay, but we have to hurry up. I really have to go. I said, I beg you, sir. He was happy with that. We put the interview together, and this is the extra to pick from it. It's relevant for the conversation of politics today. Have a look.
Doc, somebody may say that welcome to the game. The last time you were nominated close to the time and you went straight into the politics of the mass rallies and all of that. But this time you have had the opportunity to speak about what you think is the state of the economy, and the attacks have started coming. Is it welcome to the political game for you? How do you relate to these attacks?
Well, I think one has to take a step back to see why these attacks are coming. Basically, I gave a lecture on the state of the economy, and I think it seems to have touched a nerve as far as the government side is concerned, because they touted major achievements in the economic record, and I think the lecture essentially put that record in tatters. And I think people are quite upset, and they've gone out in anger to attack me, and very little of attacking the substance of what I'm saying. So it is the way politics is done. You target people, target personalities, but don't deal with ideas. But I'm going to continually focus on ideas in this campaign, and the issues I raised are very relevant and will continue to be.
They have also responded substantively on the intellectual level. The Minister of Finance had a statement in the graphic, and I'll come to that in a bit. But for people like you who are either technocrats or people working outside the main political sphere, the concern has always been politics is a dirty game and that kind of thing. What kind of changes in our politics would you like to see now that you are in?
Well, I think even if I was not in, I would like to see changes in our politics to elevate the decency in our politics, to make politics a competition of ideas from different political parties. We essentially should think about a one Ghana concept. We are competing in the political space as part of the democratic process, but our competition is really with other countries outside Ghana, as I stated in my speech. Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, South Korea, Brazil, China, these are our competitors. And so we have to think about politics in a very different way from the way we've been doing it. I like to think about it as a Black Stars concept, that in Ghana, we have different players as part of a team. Some are engineers, some are doctors, some are nurses, some are business people. But in this global competition that we find ourselves in, all of these people, regardless of political party, are members of that team Ghana. And so we should really try to lift Ghana up and empower our team, our private sector, to really compete globally, because the competition out there is very fierce. And if we are going to create the type of economy that is going to create the jobs that we need to create, we've got to bring the talents and energies of everybody to bear. And therefore, whilst we are political, we don't want to be overtly so to the detriment of the very players in this team Ghana who will be scoring for the goals for us in the field of international competition. So I would rather people concentrate on, ideas. How are we going to change this country? How are we going to move this country, which has been independent for 55 years now, and we haven't solved very basic problems. Water is still a problem even in the capital city as we speak. Electricity, is still a problem. Without energy, there is going to be no industrialization. That is just a simple fact. So we've got to address, basic issues. Our inner cities, Choko, Nima, Aboboloshi, and all of that. Problems with just basic toilet facilities. This is the 21st century Ghana. So we need a new type of politics that moves us to address issues in terms of results, solutions to people's problems.
So you think the past bygones should be bygones? From 2012 election, Dr. Bawumia wants us to rethink our politics. Is that the point?
Well, I think you can never forget the past, but I think the focus, the type of politics that we ought to be doing should be a politics of ideas, a politics of solutions. You can sit on the radio all you want and insult all you want. It doesn't solve somebody's problem of getting water. So why don't we just focus a little bit more with ideas, with cooperation on how to solve some of these basic problems. Many countries have solved the problem of water, for example, over hundreds of years ago. 2/3 of the water pipes that run the city of London are over 100 years old. 1/3 of them are 150 years old. In Rome, we are talking of so many, over 1,000 years old in some of the lines. So you really, it's not an issue of the technology not being available. So we've got to understand why is it that we are not able to do some of these things that other countries have been able to do. And I believe very, very, very fervently that what other countries have been able to do, Ghana should be, and we can do it if we bring our talents to bear and stop this type of divisive and very detrimental type of politics where you tear people down simply because they've said something that you find quite disagreeable, and you don't attack their idea, but you go ahead and attack their person and try to reduce their credibility and all of that. For me, it doesn't matter to me. Those things don't get to me. Someone was saying to me, that the tradition that is attacking me, I shouldn't worry because they don't even give that respect to their own founder. So I'm getting off lightly. so I'm really quite
very well
quite,
said, though, Dr.
yes,
Bawumia,
yes,
very eloquently said. But
This guy is such a sensible guy, man. Muhammadu Bawumia in 2011. This is such a well brought up guy. Viewers, those of you who have sons, don't you want your son to be like that? Don't you want your son to be granted an interview after he's given a lecture? He's been so heavily attacked. He says politics about the competition of ideas. So when you see Dr. Bawumia talking yesterday, he's not acting. He's not acting because he's looking for president. This has been his view way before 2011 and expressed on our show in 2011. How many years ago is 2011? Please calculate and tell me. That time, Dr. Bawumia was talking about the politics of ideas. He was talking politics of ideas before 2011 and clearly evidence in 2011. He has been thinking this idea. Somebody cannot stand yesterday and deliver as he did if he only thought about it the day before. A politician doesn't need to think about things the day before and then just go to the community and answer their question and say, I will do this, I will do that, I will change this, I will change that, just from the day before. This is a conceptualization of ideas of how to move a nation forward, developed by such a well brought up guy. Wow.